Devastating economic and employment figures prove Sir Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves are sucking the life out of Britain. They said Labour would be the party of working people.
Working people.
Working people.
Working people.
Working people.
More money in the pockets of working people.
Wrong. 1 million more people have been signed off work on benefits with no need to ever look for a job under this Labour government. There are now 3.7 million people in Britain who have guaranteed benefits for life and never have to look for work. They've just been written off. And the number of people who have to look for a job as a condition of receiving their benefits fell from 1.65 million to 1.6 million in Labour's first year in office. Total health and disability benefits, OK, that bill that you're going to pay could be £100 billion in just 5 years' time. Look, a lot of people need benefits, and I want to make it very clear that I am not talking about them. I'm not talking about you. But I think there is something much bigger going on here. A number of 55 to 59-year-olds claiming benefits with no work requirements, so people aged 55 to 59 who now just don't have to look for work at all, but can claim benefits indefinitely, has climbed by 64% in the last year. 64% since Labour won the election. Well, I think I know why. Because they're looking at the country now and they've given up. They look around and they see illegal immigrants getting everything for free. They see the place they grew up in is now unrecognisable. They barely hear English when they walk around on the street. They've worked hard, paid tax all their lives, and yet when they go to the shops now, all they see is people nicking food from the aisles and legging it. You know, their neighbours have got a brand new car on the Motability scheme. There's no room for their grandchildren at the local primary school. And then they're being asked to work harder and pay more tax. And I think they've just said, no, I'm out. Sign me on for life, I give up. The number of 45 to 49-year-olds signed off for life with no need to look for work also rose by 58% in the last year as well. But this is what I think is really unforgivable. Listen to Rachel Reeves speaking in Belfast today.
There is more to do, but in the first year, we've managed to return stability to the economy. We're growing the economy and reducing costs, particularly mortgage costs for hard-pressed families.
I'm calling BS on that. Take a look at this chart. So look at the drop in payrolled employees since Labour came to power. The peak there, the peak of that graph, is roughly the time of the last election. And then look at it. It's going down, isn't it? It's nosediving. The number of people in work has dropped by about 164,000, but there are also fewer job vacancies being advertised. There are fewer jobs available under Labour, and it is affecting young people. This is the thing that really winds me up. It is affecting young people. Payrolled employment for under 18s is down almost 59,000 on the year, with 18 to 24-year-olds down 43%. The drop for those aged between 25 and 34 is a staggering 106,000 over that period. It's remarkable, this. Under Labour, we've got job opportunities down, people in work down, lifetime on benefits up. I mean, the cynic in me would say that this is what socialists want, a nation of people dependent on the state. But we need to have aspiration in Britain. People need to feel like they can have a go, take a punt, get on with their life, be upwardly mobile. We need to be a nation of go-getters. And I think Labour is sucking that out of us. Have you had a random call lately from a strange number, maybe trying to sell you something or even scam you? If so, your info could be out there. That's because of data brokers, shady companies that scrape the internet for your personal details and sell them to marketers or even scammers. These days, scammers can even use AI to mimic your friends' voices and trick you into sending money. It's not just annoying. Data brokers often target vulnerable people with high-interest loans or sketchy offers. But there is a solution. Incogni, the sponsor of this video. Incogni contacts data brokers on your behalf and requests your info be deleted from their databases. And because your data can keep popping up, Incogni keeps sending removal requests to make sure it stays gone. They've just launched a new unlimited plan with custom removals. If you find your info on a weird website, just send them the link and their privacy team will work to get it taken down. Getting started is easy. Hit the link in the description, create your account and let Incogni handle the rest. It's risk-free for 30 days, and you'll get 60% off an annual plan with the code GBNews. Take back control of your data with Incogni. The thoughts of my panel. We have got political commentator Esther Krakow. We've also got GB News superstar Alex Armstrong and journalist Jonathan Liss. I think this is pretty staggering. Alex, I'll start with you on this. I mean, those figures of both unemployment, people who can have a lifetime on benefits with no need to look for work and job opportunities are pretty bleak, really.
Yeah, and do you know what, Patrick? You look around the country, you look at the state the country's in, and you kind of understand why. What opportunities are there for young people anymore? Zero. You can't even get a job at Tesco. My little brother's been working his backside off just to get a job at Tesco. Can't get one. More than capable, just cannot get one anywhere where he lives or at university. GDP per capita, what's the point? 100 grand today is what 50 grand was 10 years ago. We've got food inflation, energy bills soaring. And so people are wondering, if I'm going to get into work, if I'm someone maybe who took an early retirement, wants to get back to work, what's the point? What am I going to get out of this? In fact, I'm going to get taxed more, I'm going to get back less, and I'm giving all of my money is going to people who've just arrived 10 minutes ago, are getting freebies here, there and everywhere, free hotels and everything else. It's just, they just think it's pointless. I don't blame them.
I mean, we've got it from both ends of the spectrum there, Esther, right? So we've got people who are maybe nearing retirement anyway, who I think have, for one reason or another, just thrown the towel in now. And I do wonder if it's because they think, what's the point in them going out, breaking their backsides every single day, to maybe have a tiny bit of disposable income when they look around now and they think this country's just gone.
Well, you're giving freebies to every Tom, Dick and Harry that comes across on a boat. Why shouldn't I get one? At least I've contributed to the system. I think, but, you know, these were the figures we were expecting to see when we saw that hike in people claiming disability benefits and not having to look for work. So the nation was shocked when it was mainly under 35s, mainly people under the age of 25, actually, who had had just come out of full-time education or just couldn't find a job. So this is what we were expecting. But then can you imagine if younger people are finding it hard to find a job, what do you think about people that are 55 to 59 who cannot be retrained? Because let's be honest, most companies are not going to fork out to retrain people that are close to retirement age, who probably have higher expectations. Of course they have, because they have about 40 years of experience in their field, whatever field that is, or in various fields. And then on top of all of that, so they have to find a job in this difficult climate. And then when they do, they're going to be taxed more than ever, so that Joe Blow can come across on a boat from France and get put up in a hotel. I mean, it's just, it's so demoralising, but I hope this is the kick in the backside that the government needs to see that their plan is not working.
Well, this is it. Jonathan, so 1 million more people have been signed on to benefits for life without ever having to look for work under Labour. It's the party of not working people, isn't it?
I think that we have to accept a basic truth, which is that most people actually want to work rather than depend on benefits. Now you can dispute that. You could call me hopelessly naive and optimistic, but I do think that most people want to lead fulfilled lives and actually have a purpose in life that is given by work. Now that's not to fetishise work. I hate it when Conservatives seem to say that work is the purpose for being alive. The reason for being alive is very sort of this Protestant work ethic kind of thing, very American. And I don't like that either. But I certainly think that work is something that most people would like to do. And you have people at the beginning of their working lives and towards the end of their working lives who aren't working for different reasons. Now, obviously, we've had a lot of time with a serious pandemic. Obviously, that has led to a rise in long-term illness, in mental health problems, in young people and older people as well. There is.
But let's just bring that graph up. Can we? Sorry, guys. The graph of the kind of unemployment figures under Labour that I showed you, that monologue there. I think we can bring that up because I take your point about the pandemic, and that obviously had a problem. But what we can show when we see this graph is that actually at the point of the last election, we had employment on the rise, and it was going quite well.
Patrick, unemployment and employment are both actually rising at the moment, which sounds kind of like it's contradictory. But they're both the employment figures and the unemployment figures are actually both rising because there's an increase in the work supply. So they are adding jobs, but there is an argument which I can completely accept, which is that because of the national insurance rises, companies are not hiring as much as they were. Which would be Labour's fault.
Isn't it incredible that all those thousands of strapping young men that are coming here, mainly to work, of course, from water...
That's not allowed to work. Why do we keep on talking about asylum seekers in this argument?
Let's have a look at that. So I don't know if we might be able to remove the strap as well, but basically the dates on that, where you see that top spike there, right? There we go. Right, lovely stuff. So we've got July there, and so okay, a little bit of a bump, and then then, no, there we go. We've got Rachel Reeves' budget, and it's gone down. That is Labour's fault.
It is so obvious, though, isn't it, Patrick? It's so obvious that you tax businesses, there's going to be less jobs. You raise the minimum wage, even those lower wage jobs are also going to start disappearing. On top of that, I mean, people are paying out of their backside for average things. They don't jobs that pay barely the minimum wage these days. It's not worth working. You're better off being on benefits, and that is the reality. And just before you continue, let's not forget this is a spiralling problem. We are heading towards a serious stagflation crisis because the Labour Party is more ideologically concerned about keeping the benefits, what I'm going to call the benefits triple lock now, because you've got to get through the Labour Party multiple times, and they could have been bringing this bill down and getting people back to work.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned triple lock because obviously that is the biggest benefits bill.
Many business owners were saying that the actual bonuses that they want or pay rises they wanted to give to their staff, they couldn't because of this NI rise. And if you've noticed where there have been the most job losses, it's basically in hospitality, where you have transient short-term employment. So clearly, this is a direct result of that. And I'm sorry, this idea that, we should get rid of the triple lock for pensioners, look at the hurdles that the Labour government had to go through to basically not get any actual cuts to benefits because of all their Labour backbench MPs who don't want to lose votes. But they're just basically, Britain is circling the drain.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that because the pensioners are the people most likely to vote, you can't offend them. And if you're going to sort of attack,
the people who pay the most
if you're going to hit benefits claimants, pensioners are benefits claimants as well. Now you could argue that they are, and you can argue quite easily, they deserve those benefits. I would argue that most benefits claimants deserve their benefits actually. But to ring fence one cohort of the population receiving benefits and sort of let everyone else take huge cuts of working age people who have struggled in a way that pensioners haven't is wrong.
That's the question.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point.
This? I don't care who deserves what. Tell me who.
Well, we're paying for the triple lock pension. Well, we are. All of us who are working right now are paying for the triple lock. And we're not going to have the triple lock when we're pensioners, as you know that.
But that's hypothetical.
I think we're even past that point.
What about the young people, though? Sorry, this is the thing. What about young people?
For young, productive people to stay here and tolerate paying for a system that they're never going to benefit from.
Yeah.
Paying more taxes than ever before, still trying to get their heads around a student loan. And this is assuming before all of this they even find a job. You're in for a rude awakening.
This is it.
That's just not
you've got young people. This is what really bothers me about this. One of the most formative things that I think many young people can do, and I did it, and a lot of my friends did it, was from the age of about 16 or 17, you go and get like a job behind the bar somewhere, or you wait tables in like your local pub or your local restaurant, and you start to actually realise, oh gosh, even if it's not much, I've got about a couple hundred quid a week or something like that, if that. I've got a couple hundred quid a week, maybe earn a little bit more in tips or something, and it just gets you going a bit, doesn't it? You think, OK, I'm working for this living now, and I'm juggling that with school at the time and things, and it just gets you in the groove for when you start to become an adult and everything. Maybe turns you on a little bit to like the idea about what would it be like to actually run my own business one day. And if we're taking that away from people because people aren't hiring and people aren't advertising those jobs, that's a problem. And I do wonder now, Alex, where we've got a large cohort of young people in Britain now who look around this country and they think there's no opportunity for them. They see other people being treated like first-class citizens and then being treated like second-class citizens, and they just think that they're going to get absolutely hammered, and you take away aspiration.
Yeah, well, they are, and they come out of university with 90 grand's worth of debt these days. That's excluding the interest rate they have to pay. So they're looking at a never-ending black hole of their finances forever, a lot of them, which is absolutely nuts. We are punishing young people. The Adam Smith Institute put out some really interesting data. 74% of young people are planning or seriously looking at leaving the country for opportunities abroad. So on top of all...
I'm glad that all the pensioners took that right away from them.
Well, I'm terrible. It's just terrible that all the Labour Party have absolutely slammed the rich people that have had trickle-down. I think you're seeing the results of when...
Trickle-down economics is a complete nonsense, Alex.
Well, it clearly works, because the amount of people who are no longer payrolled is plummeting massively.
Well, a lot of people are also becoming self-employed as well. That does account for that.
Why is that happening? Because the businesses can no longer afford to keep them. Therefore, they're having to go self-employed. That's the
it's self-evident now that we are being run by a cohort of people who have never run a business in their lives. I've, in some cases, lied about what they have actually done for work, and I don't have a real clue. Most of them, actually, as far as I can tell, the cabinet have basically pounced off the state for their entire life in one way or another with the public sector. They don't realise what's going on out there, and they are sucking aspiration out of this country.
Well, people like public sector workers are not pouncing off the state. Is that the word you were using? That's
half of their jobs.
No, we need a strong public sector and a strong private sector in this country. I don't think that most people, that's not the issue here, about whether we should not have private sector or public sector jobs, rather. The issue is about these long-standing challenges we have in this country, about productivity, about people not in work, and there are many, many reasons for that. And I think that we need a carrot approach more than a stick approach.
You just want to create everyone to be dependent on the state, don't you? That's socialism 101.
Of course not. That's not what socialism is. Socialism is about redistributing. Socialism is all about making people dependent on the state, Patrick. It's about redistributing wealth to make it fairer and to allow people to get opportunities they wouldn't have under capitalism.
There are no jobs left. That's socialism.
All right, just very quickly. So what can we do to turn this around? Is there anything that we can do to turn this around and make people feel as though they can go out, they can take a punt in life, they'll get rewarded for working hard and maybe taking a bit of risk?
I heard the Chego Islands is free. Maybe we can relocate the government there and get a new government.
And they just had a 90% had an income tax cut. We paid for that, did we not, Esther?
I think we can relocate the government to the Chagos Islands and then try and... I think my local plumber might do a better job.
Well, possibly. Well, look, there you go. Again, there's more stats coming out by the day now, and Labour have been in power for over a year, and at some point they're going to have to take some accountability and responsibility for this. My heart goes out for people, seriously, who, especially younger people now, who feel like there's no opportunity or aspiration in Britain, because I believe in people in this country. I believe in young people in this country who want to work, who want to get on in life, and I feel as though they're having the rug pulled out from under them. But